hold on tight. 'Cause you know tomorrow may not bring that same thing that you said last night. Woo! Every time I find a little peace of mind, I hold on tight. 'Cause tomorrow may not bring the very same thing. No, no, no. Said none of the right there. You that care all. Just for me, I'm so glad that you that care all. Just for me, I'm so glad that you that care all. For a sinner like me.
Well, hello, Mike. How you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Will, how you doing today, bro?
Simply fantastic. And thank you for asking. I'm
Yes,
glad that
sir.
you answered the call. And I know
Yes,
that you're
sir.
going to tell us a little bit about your experiences as a Black man in a college that doesn't sound like it was quite suited for you. And you had to get over these obstacles, and you were going to explain to us kind of how you went about that. And before you really get started, sir, could you kind of give us a little bit about your background, like where you came from, things of that nature?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So before we get into it, first off, my name is Mike Retland. I'm a native of Aurora. My father and my mom's they met down here. My dad was in the Air Force, so they stationed him in Colorado Springs. I grew up 5 minutes away from the Aurora Mall, so I'm really familiar with the area. And played football. Football was like my jam. Football was my main thing. Was in football. I always was in athletics. So football, baseball, track, wrestling. I was an athletic type of cat. So
So you're an athlete.
athlete, come on now,
Yeah, I
come
mean,
on.
really, that's what it sounds like to me. You can play a couple of sports.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
when
Yes,
they get
sir.
ready to play baseball or football, when they're picking who's going to play, I would guess your name got picked. They
I
want
mean,
you
I
on their team.
I try to be low key about it, but I'm a very competitive person. So
That's
they
good.
have me on their team.
And now let's start getting into some of the obstacles of this school that was your concern.
Okay, for sure, for sure. Well, first and foremost, I went to school in Rapid City. It was called South Dakota School of Mines. The only reason why I went there was for athletics. I didn't know the school existed, to be honest, until they came up to my campus when I was in high school and they recruited me. Me and my dad took a visit. We really enjoyed the campus. You know how the coaches do when you're on recruiting trips. They try to gas up the school. They try to gas up everything. We went on some recruiting parties and hung out with some other athletes that were at the school. Hey, this is a Nike school. You know, I want you to graduate. When you get a graduation degree from South Dakota School of Mines, this is a Nike type of degree. This isn't going to be an Adidas. Like you get an Adidas or Reebok, but when a company looks at it and say, "Oh yeah, this is Nike. This is number one," we gonna want to take somebody with that type
I
of
hear
degree.
you.
So it was tough as nails. They was tough. A lot of studying, a lot of late nights. Being a college athlete is a completely different atmosphere for a regular student.
What is it like for an athlete that's on a scholarship and recruited by a school? What are some of the things, obstacles that you're up against?
You should know this in any D1, D2, NAIA, JUCO, being an athlete in college, that's your number one priority. Unless you don't want a scholarship. Hey, you could join a team, have a good time, you know what I'm saying? Be with some people that are a great experience. But if you are about the money And not everything is about the money, but if you're about getting paid, because for me, like the scholarship was the main reason why I went to school. The main reason why a lot of athletes go to school is because of that scholarship money. So if you're not doing good in sports, you're not going to get a boost in the scholarship. I didn't get a full ride scholarship when I went there. I started off with a partial, and I worked my way up to get a full ride around my
Okay.
junior year. My schedule was wake up, workout, you got meetings all day, practice, go back home, watch film. You gotta watch film on yourself, watch film on the other team, so that when you get into the game, you're not out there looking silly, you're not out there looking sloppy, you're not out there getting punched in your mouth. So my fourth year, I tore my ACL in fall camp, and so that has set me back a year. Tearing my ACL was a great experience too because number one, it made me feel like a normal college student. I didn't have to go to meetings or games or practice or nothing like that because I was learning how to walk. Dedicate time for the books and the homework because if you're not doing good in the grades, you're not going to get the scholarship neither. You can flunk out. You have to have a certain GPA to maintain your scholarship. So it's two jobs. And then if you have work study or if you have another job, that's three jobs. So it was an entire, my time management was really pointing on key going into college. And so anybody that is aspiring to be a college athlete, man, work on your time management now.
What was your ratio to black to the rest of the school?
For sure, man. So our ratio throughout the entire school, man, it was slim to none. So Rapid City, South Dakota, or Rapid South Dakota in general, it's the Midwest. There's not a lot of black folks in the Midwest. Native population was essentially the black population down there in South Dakota. So even if you still go there today, you still see a lot of Native Americans that are getting treated poorly, getting treated like low class black people. The main reservations are down there. So they got kicked out of all their main land, and now they just stay in the reservations. And most of the reservations are in South Dakota and North Dakota, those different areas.
This racism, this treating people less than,
Yes, sir.
where we're talking about how blacks could get treated, your experience is not only you being black get treated like that, but you're having an opportunity to see how other races are being treated like this.
Right.
And when you was in school and you're going through your own personal things and you're seeing how the Native Americans and what's going on with them, how did that make you feel? How did you deal with that?
You already know there's about 10 black, I count as many black people at
Come
my school
on.
that's on my hand.
Is
So
that
you know,
teachers too?
uh, unfortunately, no. The only black teachers, faculty members that we
Yeah.
had on our campus that I can remember were only coaches. Really count 10 black people that are at my school, and they're all there because of athletics. Man, we got to bonding and we got to linking very well, very fast.
Well, it was only, yeah, I mean, you had to stick with your kind.
Yes,
But
sir.
what happened at the school that prompt movements or for you to get involved with
Yes, sir.
this situation?
Year of college. I was that was in 2020. That was during COVID. A lot of racial tension was happening when I was coming back home for the summer. Elijah McClain, George Floyd, a bunch of Breonna Taylor, just to name a few of the names that were just being treated poorly by authorities. And it was really causing the country to stir up. Being in Aurora and taking all that experience that I've cultivated during the summer, I couldn't go back to Rapid City the same way. I couldn't go back and say like everything's fine with me. Like I've never had a bad experience and like this is just life and everything like that. Because I know other people at my school, they haven't had the same experience I had. I know other women at my school hasn't had the same experience I've had because women in STEM, minority students in STEM, this means science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And in our school, man, the population for Black people was I would say maybe 5%, maybe if that lower. I couldn't go back to Rapid City the same way. And so during that time of all the heat that was going on, I had to go back with a different mentality on not trying to ignore the problem because this is happening. We're seeing this on the news. We're hearing about this from other friends, from other family members, from different parties. And I don't want to go back to school and be oblivious or say, like, oh, I don't know what's going on, right? When you know what's going on.
When you say what's going on, I
Yes, sir.
mean, we can speculate what you mean, but can you kind of zero in just a little bit more on what do you mean when you say, I see what's going on? I can't go back like that the same way. What is
Right.
it that's going on?
2020, George Floyd was murdered. Um, Also during that time, Breonna Taylor was murdered by police officers. And then something that hit close to home was there was a case in Aurora where a kid named Elijah McClain,
Yep.
he was an African American kid, literally my same age, a year younger than me. Years prior, he was detained by police officers and was treated poorly, horribly, had special needs, and he was walking home from hanging out at the shelter, playing violins to kittens. Everyone in his community looked up to this kid, and they knew the type of qualities, characteristics, and the energy that he carried. And he was mistreated terribly by police officers, then administered uh, drugs in his arm when he didn't need it at all to calm him down because of everything that was happening to him. And then the paramedics were the ones that actually killed him. And so hearing about this story for me, it really hit home because he grew up in the same part of Aurora that I grew up in, was the same age that I was. And everyone in his community and his family had nothing but good words to say about this gentleman. And I know easily if that had happened to him, that could have easily had happened to me.
You're right.
So that hit home. His sister, she was a part of putting together his memorial service at the Aurora Municipal Center, so right across the Aurora Library. They were able to sing him a song. They did some eulogies, and we had a big community there come down and tell their story. In that experience and having an active part to play in an experience like that, and hearing the stories and hearing how his family felt, and just being in that climate of that time, I definitely was rage, but a controlled rage. You know, I'm not going out there and starting to vandalize. I'm not going out there to do wrong. My new mentality and my new shift is, okay, take all this information that I have and apply it to my new home. Was going back to college with this new experience. I wanted to host what was called the Black Experience for South Dakota.
Wait. Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt, but wait.
Yes, sir.
You just said there was about 5%.
Yes, sir.
And now you said you wanted to do what? You wanted to
I wanted to host the Black Experience so my school can understand what it's like being a Black. Going into my senior year, everything of that nature was happening. And I remember talking to my fellow Black teammates about what was happening. And definitely the Colin Kaepernick situation of him taking a knee because of the social injustice that's been going on was a way that he could respectfully articulate what was going on. If people wanted to have a conversation about it, if people wanted to get into it, not any disrespect, but to really just have a great conversation, because people don't want to hear about what I have going on. People don't want to know about the Black experience. To my Black counterparts that are in South Dakota, we all knew what was going on. And they felt the same way that I did. I started hosting open forums during our fall camp and going into the school season before school started, open forums of us just coming together. It doesn't matter who you were, white, Black, woman, man, just please come and have this open forum so we can just talk and have a conversation. Not leaving their homes. They weren't leaving their dorms. They wanted to get in and get out. And so this was another way for us to just commune with our community, and was hosting these open forums. And then about a week or two into it, I asked my coach. My coach was, like I said, everybody knows what's going on. And me being a team captain on my football squad, I wanted to present this opportunity to my coach so that the other fellow players on my football team can come join this open forum. We had already had other athletics, women's volleyball, men's basketball, some people on the soccer team. I went to a D2 school, so we didn't have that many sports. But the people that showed up to our open forums were from these other groups of athletics. There were only football players that showed up were the black football players and our black coach. And
That
so
that's kind of what I was going to get to. Uh, there probably wasn't a huge black population in the whole city or area or
yes,
state.
yes.
And when you were holding these meetings, I kind of want to get to that. Is it fair to say most of the black men, or I guess women too now, were
Yeah.
athletes?
Yeah. So black women was man, I probably two black women in athletics in our school.
What?
The only women's sports we had were women's basketball and volleyball, golf too, but I think those were about the only track and field. We only had like four sports that had women in them, so there wasn't a large population of women.
Trying to accomplish by bringing these people together and discussing these issues?
I'm glad that you asked that because that's literally what my coach had asked. That is
Okay.
literally the conversation I had with my coach. He said, "What is your objective? What are you trying to get with this?" People don't have the opportunity to just share their feelings or share how they feel without getting put in a box or getting put in a label, right? If I can't clearly see what side you're on, so I can categorize you and put you in a certain lane, and I don't know what you're doing, then I don't want any part of it, right? Talked about this conversation. I said, "Hey, coach, hey, captains, I want to come together and have this open forum and talk with you guys. I want, as you as a head coach, yes, I can promote my own black experience to my team, but it's going to be coming from you. It's going to be a message that is going to be a lot more loud and clear because you are a head coach of a football team, and you don't have to make this a requirement, but you saying, hey guys, Mike Retland, he's hosting this open forum to talk about the black experience and about what's going on in our society and our culture, because we all know what's going on. How about we can attend one of these black experiences and just to see where he's coming from. Football team know my character. They know who I am. They know the work that I put in on and off the field. They know that I'm a positive person. They know that I'm somebody that they can trust, and I'm not somebody that's just going to go out there and try to oppose my will or try to sow seeds of discord.
Well,
Right?
it sounds like, young man, that you're a man with integrity. I don't really know your history about the love of Christ or whatever, but integrity is a thing of righteousness. Something else I picked up on. It isn't so much as the school and what they were doing. You were trying to just open up people's minds from whatever part of the country you're from. I thought it was just a lot going on with the school, but you're talking about what's going on in the country, like.
Yes, in the country. And then when I moving along, when this movement became a lot bigger, we started focusing on our school actually.
Ooh.
Um,
How long
so
did that last?
my entire semester, the program that I started, the Hard Rocker Ally Association, during this entire time, it's still running. It's student led though. I wish that some of the faculty and some of the higher ups would take this club or this organization to move it along the lines of having something that's going to be sustaining and long lasting.
Seed that you planted still can grow, my brother. That
Yes,
was
sir.
beautiful. So when
Yes, sir.
you going through this, you're in school, you're having this. When you came back to your home, back to where the young man was murdered, and back to not the streets, but home, where the
Yes.
hatred is, as they
Come
say.
on now, the ACO.
Yeah, yeah. What was your frame of mind then when your own people are being hard headed with
You talking about when I came back after college, or like?
you? Yes.
Okay, for sure, for sure. Well, the story of college is not done yet.
Oh, come on then.
It's not done yet, man. All right, I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try to speed this up as quick as I can. So once I had asked my coach that question of, hey, what can we do as a football team to bring the brothers together? He said, Mike, I just want to tell you the work that you're doing, it's not going to change the world. So I don't know what you think you're going to be doing with this. And I told him, Coach, it's not about changing the world. It's about changing the proximity that you're in. So
Okay.
now, since I understand that you're not going to be as a supportive cast for what's going on, and now that I know that I can take this helm and I'm going to have to be the leader to make sure that we can cultivate this experience through the entire year, great to know. I appreciate your support. So, first game of the season, me and some brothers, you already know what had happened. Took that knee, made a lot of people um, unhappy. And in the beginning of before we even took a knee, our coach, we had asked him, we want to make sure we can get this point across so we can talk to everybody that's in our community, build our own community up. This is the community we're in for the football season, for the school semester. This is technically our home.
Right.
So let's build up our home the way we are supposed to. We came out with the inclusion type of video, right? They played it before the game. Nobody was paying attention to the video. Everybody was having a good time, talking it up, chopping it up, having a good time. Our coach said, yeah, this video is going to hit the message. It's going to hit home. Didn't hit home. We took that knee. It hit home. The next day, had a meeting, or the founder for the nations for our college funds put a long message out on Facebook slandering us of what we're doing, has some foul words and language on what we were doing, didn't know what we were doing. And a whole bunch of people tagged along. And there was a whole bunch of people that defended us, mostly the parents of the students and faculty, or not even faculty, just parents of the students and old alumni that was understanding where we were coming from. We actually got to talk to a lady that had disagreed with what we did. And we had told her, this is the reason why we wanted to do this, so we can have these type of conversations. Because if we didn't do this, nobody would want to have these type of conversations. Nobody would want to make the right steps to go forward on making a change for our school, on actually investing in our school. So
I'm sure a lot of us know what happened to the quarterback that took the knee,
come on now.
and how people perceive him taking the knee as against the country, or like he was nothing like these people that attacked the Capitol. They were just visiting. They were just visiting.
Right.
And so a brother just take a knee,
Right.
and his whole career is gone.
Right.
But that knee inspired you too.
Oh,
And it
yeah.
inspired all of those that took a knee with you. And it
Right.
took courage
Yes, sir.
to take that knee.
Yes, sir.
And I just want a little bit more about the hate mail that you received, because when them donors start messing
Yes.
with the school, then the school gonna start messing with you.
Exactly. Also, one of the 5 schools in D2 that was able to play football that year. For me, it's like, okay, we have all these rules and regulations that you want us to follow, yet half of the school isn't following these. Half of the state isn't following these. This is our home, a place we call home. We go to sleep every night here, and we don't feel at home. Son is going to college and he doesn't feel at home. What are you going to do about it, right? You're supposed to be our when we go to college, these coaches are now our parents, our dads, right?
Right.
And that's the message that you're preaching. So if your son is telling you that, yeah, dad, I don't feel safe, I'm not feeling heard, I'm not this, that, and the third, are you just gonna be like, oh, that's just how it is, right? No, that's not how it should be. If that's the message you've been preaching this entire time, I've been trying to get recruited to come to your school.
But that is how a lot of people look at it, like just lump it, been that way, you know, what you're saying as a young man. And I know you know by now, especially if you took a knee and all of that, you have to be careful on these things because there's a lot of hatred out there,
Got to.
you know? And so come on, I mean, you're going to get me
Yes.
all hyped up here in a minute.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, don't be
Man,
sorry.
first and foremost, I know God got my back.
Hallelujah.
So I know he has my back. He's gonna protect me. If they really hating on me that much and they want me off the team, so be it. Because I'm one of these star players on the team, and I know you need me more than I need you guys. So that was my mentality going into it. A lot of other of the black athletes on our team were star players of the team.
Okay.
And so when it comes to trying to listen to us about football and about plays and about school, yeah, you're going to listen to us. But when it comes to our real life and our real life experience, the black experience, sorry, I don't want to hear that. Right? So you can't just take us just for sports and just for the GPA and just to make your school look good and not take us out fully.
It's like America.
Come on now.
I mean, you could run that down on employment.
Yes, sir.
You can, I mean, on every level, talking to you as a young black man, it's really like the same struggles are still here. And they're a little different the way they approach it.
Right.
But they're still devastating. They're still murdering people. You might not be hanging them in trees, but you're choking them out in the middle of the street now.
Come on now.
You know, that kind of stuff. And it's just amazing that you took this stand, especially so far away from home.
In my home for the last 5 years, the last 4 years, time in that period of my life has been in South Dakota. I already have in-state residency because I'm getting in-state tuition. So like that's my home. Young black athletes that were on my football team, they all looking up to me before the day of the game. Before we decided to take that knee, they all looked at me. They said, Mike, what we gonna do? Whatever you do, I'm doing that.
Whoa.
Right?
Okay, Mike.
So, and I was like, I try to talk to the coach. They're not trying to listen. This is the next step for us. Because say we didn't take that knee, then for me personally, I feel like they wouldn't have took us seriously. I feel like the attraction that we had after taking that knee wouldn't have happened. So after we had taken the knee and we started getting momentum, started talking to our president, started talking to these donors, started to talk to our athletic director. Hey, what's going on? What's the situation like? What's going on? I'm like, well, I try to talk to the coach to see what we can do. He wasn't making anything shake. Now we took some action, and now things are starting to move along.
Was this coach the black coach?
No, sir.
Okay, because help a brother out here because I was getting ready to get on him.
He could have navigated through it better if I had more support. But I didn't have any support. This was a student-led organization from the get-go as well, too. Because when we had brought this issue to our coach, nothing had happened. When we had asked about, hey, let's make this organization for our school called the Hard Rocker Ally Association for minorities. Can the school back us up? Can this be a part of the Diversity and Inclusion Center? Can we get funding for this? Sorry, this is a student-led organization. At a town hall with the governor of the state, actually. the town hall was with a white football player, with my main man Dominic Jackson, and with the governor of the state.
That's
And
great.
the entire school was able to join. Jesse Herrera, shout out Jesse Herrera, director of the inclusion and equity for our school. We started an organization. We're able to partner with the assistant director of athletics so that we can start running surveys for our school, seeing how students are feeling at the school. They ask you for your age, ethnicity, your grade level, different things like that. And during this study, we found out that the people that took the study was about 80% Caucasian people. The rest were other. Of the men said they felt safe, they felt heard, they felt included, they felt like everything was going great for them in the school. The women in our school, regardless of race, and the minority students, international students, they didn't feel like their voices were heard at all. Especially women in our school, they feel like teachers and faculty members push them to the side. You're a woman in STEM, you don't know really anything. So we took tests, ran it, presented that to the board of our school to see what we can do for our minority population at the school. We also partnered with the Rapid City Police Department because, like I said, we wanted to build up our community and not tear it down. And when people think of Black Lives Matter, or they think of people that are on this side of the spectrum and not our side of the spectrum, they think that we're just trying to discord and cause arguments and fights and riots. So what we did was we partnered with the Rapid City Police Department. So,
well, that's seemed to be the MO. Anytime a minority, and especially a young Black one,
yes, sir.
anytime they try to do anything, isn't it funny how it's always you're the one presenting a problem? You're
Yes.
the one. You're just trying to get along. And like you said, you did the test, they don't feel safe. They feel like you're being pushed aside. And the truth of the matter is you are being pushed aside. You are being ignored. And as soon as you try to get any leverage, there's going to be an attack.
Yes.
And I just can't get off this guy that sent this on the Facebook that was cursing at you and stuff.
Yeah.
What was his premise for being? What was he so upset about?
I wish I could tell you, but I just can't. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I don't really think that a lot of people that harbor racism and bigotry and all that, I don't think they really have an answer outside of just hate.
Right.
They just hate.
Right. At the end of my senior year, I ran a 2-part open forum called The Black Experience, and I was able to invite 2 of the first African American gentlemen that had graduated from our school to hear their perspective and to hear their stories of going to our school so that people can truly get the Black experience. Or no, one played football, one played basketball, and they both came at around the same time. They graduated at the same year. There was over 100 people that was joining the forum. In the beginning, there was only 5, 10 of us, brothers and sisters. And at the end, we had over 100 people participate.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir. And then I ran for the Student Leadership Hall of Fame for our school so that there was another Black face. So the Student Leadership Hall of Fame, they put 6 people up on the main campus wall, and these are the leaders for the year. You can go do homework and you can see leaders from like 1980 to whatever the year is, right? So I wanted to run for that so that then the next Black person that comes to our school, when they're feeling like they're not being heard, when they feel mistreated, when they're studying late at night in Surbeck, struggling to do homework, they're able to see my face on the wall and get inspired. Even for the Black parents that take trips down there, when they walk around and see like, oh, there's not a lot of Black students or a lot of Black faculty in this school. I don't know if this is gonna be a smart move for my child. Right. They're able to see my face and be like, okay, well, if he did it and he's a leader in the school, then I know my son or daughter can definitely do it. So, inducted in 2021, so I'm on there.
Before you leave, if there was something that you had to say to another young person going into a situation like that, what bit of advice would you give them?
And you're here to be a change agent for change. Continue to be proactive, continue to find ways to make a change in your proximity or the culture or the environment that you're in.
Len, I appreciate your time and I thank you so much.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for the invite. Thank you for the call, man.
Well, another episode of Where Were You? And we would like to thank our guests for this evening. Also want to thank New Me. New Me helps sponsor Where Were You? So go on and check it out. New Me /Arkway. Also, go on and hit that like. Go on and hit subscribe. Go on and hit that share. Go on and leave a comment. And if you find anyone that has a story, let me know. And hey, you bless someone today.